slides.
No,
I've consulted my diary and I find
Okay.
it
Yep.
Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the November Planning Committee of Sandwich Town Council. We'll start with item 1, apologies for absence received.
No apologies, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Item 2, declaration of interest. To receive any declaration of disclosable pecuniary interest from in respect of business to be transacted on this agenda.
Not declaration of interest, but I thought I did see that Councillor Pennington had said he wasn't going to attend any meetings due to sickness.
Yes, you're
Did
part
we
right.
have that?
Yes, so Councillor Pennington sends his apologies, Chair.
Item 3, minutes of the Planning Committee. To approve the minutes of the Planning Committee held on the 11th of October 2023 and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere on this agenda.
I'd like to move the minutes, Mr. Chair.
Second. All in favour? Okay, item 4, public participation. A 20-minute session is set aside for members of the public to make representations at the meeting in respect of the business on the agenda. Individual representation should not exceed 5 minutes. Just excuse me, but I left my glasses at home.
Do you want me to?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Sorry, where did we get to?
Written
Motion
message.
should not exceed 5 minutes. Written notice of the desire to exercise the right to speak, together with the topic to be addressed, must be given to the town clerk by noon prior to the day of the meeting.
Okay. No participation?
No.
Okay, thank you. Item 5, planning applications. Application plans and papers can be viewed via Dover District Council website. Planning application reference number 23/00971. Proposal to replace three sash windows.
Do you want?
Do you want me to?
Yeah.
read?
You can
I'll
use
do
it,
it, I'll
yeah.
do it, I'll do it.
I apologise.
That's right.
No.
The proposal to replace 3 sash windows on the ground floor and 4 sash windows on the first floor and fixed window shutter either side of the window. Replace French door on the ground floor. And the location is 23 to 25 Little Manwood, Paradise Row, Sandwich.
Yeah, I was quite happy with this one. I'd like to recommend it goes ahead. It seemed to be a like for like. It said that the existing ones have rotted away.
Very similar, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I agree. The photos suggest they're in very bad condition currently. So this would be a good replacement. Plus, they're not visible from the public highway.
No, you can't see when you go in the garden, can you? It's behind Manwood House. It's Little Manwood. I think it's an old farmhouse, isn't it? Only little old building.
I think they open it for the gardens.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So first, all in favour of that, don't we? I think so. Yeah. That's the one second.
Thank you.
Okay. This is
So the second one.
conservation. Considered, isn't it?
That's right, yes. So this is 23/00972. The proposal to replace 3 windows to ground floor, 4 windows to first floor, and French door to ground floor to all to front elevation with double glazed units. The location is 23 to 25 Little Manwood, Paradise Road, Sandwich.
As before,
Yeah.
propose acceptance.
Councillor Ross, yes. All in favour? I think we're in favour.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, the next one. Planning application reference number 23/01166. The proposal, overall crown reduction up to 2.5 metres and partial crown lift of 1 beach, the subject of tree preservation order number 11 of 2015.
Yes, got it all.
Location is Harbury House, Sundown Road in Sandwich. There is an actual report from the volunteer tree warden, and I'll read that for the committee. Yeah. Overall crown reduction by up to 2.5 metres and partial crown lift of 1 beach, the subject to tree preservation order 11 of 2015, TPO/15/000011. The background information and supporting information only. So the proposed tree works is the crown reduction of up to 2.5 metres and a light crown lift of branches near to the building up to 2 metres. The beach fronts Harbury House on the corner of St George's Road and Sandown Road, and there's a picture provided. The TPO was put on in 2015 when the house was extended. There was likely to be some conflict between the tree and the original house eventually, even before the extension was built. It would probably not have been reasonable to have refused permission for the extension in 2015 on the basis of the presence of the tree and the expectation of its future growth. I think some work is acceptable, i.e. required tree maintenance in the circumstances of limited space. A crown reduction can be very tricky to do properly, and work should be kept to the minimum required and strictly follow the appropriate British standard BS 3998 2010. Recommendations for tree work by qualified, experienced and ideally arboricultural association approved contractor. On the house side, any crown if necessary should minimise the size of cross-sectional cuts required. It shouldn't really be necessary to do too much crown reduction on the roadside above the required carriageway clearance height, 5.2 metres over road carriageway and 2.4 metres over pedestrian access. And work should again be restricted to that actually required by the circumstances and for the balance of the tree. The TPO link on the DDC website appears to take us to the wrong TPO. I have contacted the DDC tree officer in this regard. Okay, so Planning Committee meeting 8th of November 2023, volunteer tree warden report for consideration. She does say can't find any information to support the agent. Native Gardens and Tree Care is a qualified tree surgeon. And the comment is, suggests that STC might consider to comment, potentially significant combination of crown reduction and lift is proposed for the beech tree TPO. TPO/15/00011. Work should be kept to the minimum required and strictly follow the appropriate British standard. Recommendations for tree work by qualified, experienced and ideally arboricultural association approved contractor. On the house side, any crown if necessary should minimise the size of cross-sectional cuts required. It shouldn't be necessary to do too much crown reduction on the roadside above the required carriageway clearance height, as I previously stated, and the work should again be restricted to that actually required by the circumstances and for the balance of the tree. So those are the comments from the volunteer tree board.
Yeah, it's a beautiful tree, isn't it? And it's going to get really massive, this tree, isn't it? 'Cause it's a beech. And I think we can have to sort of follow the comments of our voluntary tree warden. Thanks, Councillor.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was just going to back up what you just said, Mr. Chairman, was because the other concern that I would have is because I went to go and see it, and of course it's right on that junction, which is very
in the wrong
dangerous.
place, really.
It is, yeah. If that was to come down in very high winds, that would block the whole of like Sandown Road or St George's Road. So I think it should be have managed works along the lines of what the volunteer tree warden has said. It's a beautiful tree, but if you don't manage it, it could
Might damage the house as well, isn't it?
yeah, it's very close from the photograph number 2 showed it's almost touching the house. So yeah, so I propose that go ahead and manage works.
Anyone else? Good. Right. Do you want to speak, Mr. Watson?
Yeah, I support the proposed work, and perhaps we could
Due to
add the
minimum.
conditions along the lines of the tree warden's report, i.e. that it be carried out by a qualified tree surgeon and the work be limited to, in line with the recommendations that she makes.
I don't know whether this was received late, but doesn't the clerk normally send us copies of the tree warden's report?
So the tree warden sent it to everybody.
Oh, of course, she hasn't got my email address.
Okay, I'll forward that to you. Thank you.
Okay, we've got first and a second. Are you all in favour of that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Carried, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next one, planning application reference number 23//01217. Proposal, display various illuminated and non-illuminated logo signs, including totem, fascia, vinyl and direction signage. And then the location is the drive-through restaurant, land west of Montague Road, Discovery Park, Sandwich.
Yes, I propose supporting this application. This is there's finishing touches to the well received, might I add, the new McDonald's restaurant on Discovery Park. I do believe that they sold out within the first 12 hours of being open on the first day. It's just the finish, just basically putting their name in lights, as it were. That's hence the illumination. So I propose acceptance.
Well, the sellout was probably because the mayoress opened it. I suggest so.
Declare interest in it.
Yeah, should I declare an interest?
Fried burgers.
But I wasn't
You've really seen them, yeah?
No.
But again, I was going to say, unfortunately, we've set precedents on this site, and there are other illuminated signs. And as Councillor Marie has said, you know, it is the finishing touches for the restaurant. It's also, if you had viewed the map, it is the premises that are the furthest from the road.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be an eyesore on the road or things like that.
It's a lot higher, isn't it?
And we've got a lot higher ones. The petrol station was the worrying one.
Yeah.
So I'd like to second what Councillor Marie's put forward there.
Okay, yeah.
The golden arches on the pillar, that's already been approved, presumably,
Yeah.
hasn't it? Because
Yeah.
that's not within this,
No, that's,
because that's much more visible.
I know, that's the trouble.
yeah, yeah. It's, I think it's, I'm not quite sure, but it's down in the dip, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you go along the road,
It
no,
is,
it's
yeah,
dip.
yeah.
It's not like Whitfield when you see
From the
it
bypass.
mile away.
That's
Yeah, okay. So proposing a second, all in favour of this? Thank you.
The next one, planning application reference number 23//01212. Proposal, erection of a summer house. The location is Bowling Cottage, 1A Bowling Street, Sandwich.
Again, this is to replace an existing shed that was taken down, and I interrogated one of the local residents about this property, and he's told me that that it's very, very tucked away. So I'll hand over to Mr. Hennessy.
Yeah,
who's,
well, 1A Bowling Street forms the end of the terrace really, and it adjoins the house that fronts onto Delta Street, and it's in the back garden, and apart from the immediate neighbours, nobody would even see this, and it didn't look to be a vastly large building to me.
It's in a corner, isn't it? It's a weird shaped garden, like a zigzag, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got a zigzag garden and it runs right the way along behind all the houses. Very odd. They've got a wall with a little archway in it, like a secret garden halfway along.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's extremely tucked away, so unless one of the neighbours is jumping up and down.
No, I don't think any letters have we.
so I propose
Do a second as well. That's the last. Yeah, we're in favour of the summer house. Yeah, thank you.
So the last planning application to consider this evening, planning application reference number 23//01265. Proposal, change of use from doctor's surgery to residential dwelling, location 7 The Butchery, Sandwich.
Oh yeah, so that's it's. I was just going to say it's a nice change to see like a commercial property, you know, being changed over that, because it used to be a residential property
Yeah, it used
before.
to be a pub, my favourite.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be age away now.
So, yeah, that's a long time ago. But I think this is one of the ones, because it's tucked down the butchery, we usually protect commercial property in that area, but of course it's tucked down the butchery, so change of use, it's at least keeping it habitable and it's making good use of it for, we need more homes in the town, so I propose that we do go ahead with this.
Councillor Wallace?
Yeah, the local plan talks about stopping any conversion of retail to residential within the primary shopping area. And I don't think this really falls into that category, and clearly it's
30 years ago it was a pub, it was retail. But
well, but it's funny because I went there when I was 11 to have a medical check.
That's right, anyway now.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd support it. I mean, obviously, more people living in the town centre, the better, to some extent.
It's nice,
It's
isn't
not
it?
really a loss of retail, is it?
No,
It's not viable as a retail.
And it's only going to be one property, so if it had been broken up into flats, then I think, or God forbid Airbnb, then I think we would have had to have questioned it, but it is going to be one property, certainly one family, and there is garaging for one car, so.
Yeah, I think you might get two in there, it's quite a big
Oh
area.
yeah, it is quite big.
Yeah, so it's off-road parking as well, so it's a plus,
There
isn't
is, yeah, so there's no problem with parking or
Mm.
wheelie bins or
it?
anything in that area, so yeah, I would strongly recommend proposal.
Is this because the market surgery is expanded?
Yes, there's a couple of, yeah.
Yeah, the doctor that had that retired, so it was privately owned by the doctor that had the, as a surgery.
Cheap water,
Yeah, geez.
this is my doctor.
Okay, look, so we've got proposal and a second, all in favour of this, I think we are, lovely, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to borrow these, Jeff?
Jules did very well.
Okay,
I'll leave it at that.
the next section is about planning decisions. So this is to receive and note the latest decisions taken by Dover District Council on new planning applications. Do you want me to read all these to?
No,
You're happy to note them?
No,
Okay,
no,
thank
yeah.
you.
Okay,
Oh, the only thing I was going to say was, we did ask at the last planning meeting if there could be appended the codes,
Yes, Yes.
perhaps underneath at the end of the agenda. I don't know if you're able to do that at all,
Yeah.
Jill. If
that's
not,
fine.
I
I
think,
might have them on my iPad. I can give
yeah,
them
we
to
did,
you.
we were getting copies of the codes, have you lost
You were.
yours?
No, I've got mine on my iPad
Oh,
somewhere,
yeah.
but I was just saying I could give them to Jill if she
No.
needed them.
Councillor White?
Could we just, I don't know if John knows the answer to this, 8 Strand Street, Dormer, granted erection of rear dormer. Is that the Rotary building?
No. Yeah,
It's
it's next to that, more or less.
Yes.
And you can only see it if you go along the path next to the river and look back up.
That's
You can see it, and the one next to it, I think, has already been done. So it's sort of like a pair of semis.
Yeah, because Rotary Bill's only very low, it's like 3 little shops, isn't there? There's very low, so it's next door.
That's correct.
Because they were worried about getting the scaffolding over there, because the shop weren't made access to the scaffolding. Okay.
Item 7, street furniture applications. This is to receive and consider any applications made to DDC in relation to street furniture consent applications under the Local Government Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1982. And please note none to consider at the time of issuing this agenda. Licensing, to consider any licensing notices and issues received from Dover District Council. Please note none to consider at the time of issuing this agenda. Item 9, enforcement, to consider any enforcement notices and issues received from Dover District Council. Please note none to consider at the time of issuing this agenda. And lastly, item 10, correspondence, to receive and consider correspondence relating to planning matters, including notification of appeals against refusal of planning applications. Please note none to consider at the time of issuing this agenda. So that brings us to item 11, which is verbal update from our Dover District Councillors on matters relating to planning. I'll hand over to
Only
Councillor.
got one point, and that was the planning application for wayfarers for the fencing. I'm still waiting for some communication about it. I have submitted a request for that to be called in because the fencing that they propose is completely unsuitable for that stretch of
Right,
road.
open space, sorry, isn't it?
Well, it's adjacent to a heritage site. So.
Oh, yeah.
St Bart's.
Yeah.
I got some direct action to support that. I had a communication from one of the Dover District Council officers today appertaining to that particular planning application, and it was taken to the legal department, and they said that apparently just trying to find the email actually, and here it is here. They said that having considered the application under Town and Country Planning General Permitted Development Act Order 2015 Part 2 Class A allows for the erection and construction, maintenance, improvement or alterations of gates, fences, walls or other means of enclosure which does not exceed the 2 metres in height above ground level. Having discussed the application with Dover District Council's legal team, proposed fencing is considered to be permitted development under the legislation and therefore does not require planning permission. It is on this basis that the applicant is proposing to withdraw the application in due course. But the issue that I have now that I would like to put to the district councillor is that if they're removing the planning application, does that mean that they'll be going ahead with the planning under permitted development? Because if they are, then we really need to take some action over this. So it needs to be called in and questioned as to what's the appropriate fencing for that site. So I don't know if
could you forward that email?
Yeah,
to me?
indeed, I
Because
could.
I can then take it up with the people who haven't responded to.
Yeah, I'll send that to your iPad there.
That seems to be the thing, doesn't it? It's under 2 metres. Anything under 2 metres, they seem to sit down and planning that. Even that brick wall, you know, next to, you know, by the petrol station. Yeah, I mean, when I queried the height of that, because you know the access out from the Cow's Lees, they measured it from the petrol side. They measured it from the other side. I think it'd been over 2 metres. Yeah.
I mean, the whole idea of that fence is for security, but that is not particularly secure fencing.
No.
I think it's privacy also for the people that are going to be there. It's like a little secure space for them to have their own little space.
Yeah, the type of fencing that's outside Lowland Gap School on the main road would be suitable.
I don't know the clients they're going to get in there. That's what I've heard though. The client they're proposing to put in there like to have a safe space, and that would be part of their safe space. That's what we're looking like. Anyway, we'll see what happens, can't we?
We need to, I don't know, can the district council
There's
take
more,
this up?
there's more suitable types of fencing to put up there
Yeah,
than this particular proposal.
totally inadequate really. It's for, not only with St Bart's Chapel being at the back, but if anybody that knows that area, St Bart's Road, Hazelwood Meadow, all that area is all open plan. There's no large, the only thing on St Bart's Road is very low brick walls. This is totally out of contrast with that area. I know it's not in the conservation zone, but it's just going to literally stick out like a sore thumb. It's totally inadequate. We've got to do something about it, Councillor Morehouse. So somehow we've got to call it in, because otherwise it's going to be dreadful.
Do you want to say something else, Lars?
Yeah, I wondered if, with Councillor Morehouse's permission, I could raise a couple of DDC planning issues under this item. So the Fellowship Walk appeal has been happening yesterday and today in DDC offices, and a number of residents turned up, and councillors, DDC, Councillor Friend, and 4 or 5, I think, STC councillors turned up and spoke. So we should be hearing the results of that appeal in the next few weeks.
Yeah. 3 of us.
Sorry?
3.
3.
3 from
Today?
Yeah, today.
I think about 5 were there yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. I think the outlook on that is fairly positive in terms of opposition to the development.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was about the local plan hearings, which are coming up shortly, but I wondered if perhaps the town clerk could advise whether STC is, if we haven't done this, then it's an omission, but whether we've logged ourselves in to speak at those sessions at all.
So I was going to send out an email to members tomorrow, because I think the deadline is Friday for advising. So I will be asking if people are free to attend, because clearly there are people that do work and they won't be available to attend.
Mark and I can't.
But yes, I will be asking tomorrow, so because I think it is important that STC is represented.
Definitely.
We have got, just to update on that, because I was talking to the town clerk earlier, we have got somebody that is going along, but they, I won't mention any names, but they've already made a complaint about part of the local development plan, so they're not really suitable for the south. So we need to have somebody that hasn't made any complaints or issues to do with it, so that they go along and represent just the town council's view, not their own personal view. So if anybody's available to do that, that would be most appreciated.
I would like to make another statement,
Yeah.
which I iterated at a previous council meeting, is that I wouldn't be able to attend the meetings taking place over the last 2 days because of work commitments. So I'm just reiterating that point again. That's the reason I was not able to attend.
Councillor
Just wanted to clarify what Mr Mayor said. If I can attend it, because I do work as well full time, if I can attend, I'm more than happy to represent Southtown Council work.
Be most helpful.
Well, I'd also be willing to attend because
Okay.
the town council did make I was on the planning committee at the time.
Yeah.
We did make quite a lengthy
Yeah.
written submission, so
Yeah.
if there is an opportunity to talk to that submission, I'd be happy to.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And I think it's a good idea for two.
Two,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
good.
Okay, thank you.
It's good because one's obviously North Sandwich, one's South Sandwich.
Exactly, indeed, that's most important.
We actually commented, we had a special meeting of the full council on the 30th of November last year
Yeah,
to
we
discuss the local plan.
Yeah. It's quite, like, we had a council meeting and we had an extraordinary meeting, didn't we?
Yeah.
Particularly
Yes,
three
we
times
did.
before the deadline.
Yeah.
So we have discussed it quite a lot.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes, so the final item, date of the next planning committee meeting, 6th of December 2023.
Very good.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you.